have to high five you. It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Your work is really lovely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What'd you use for these? Like, did you use like string to do the circles, or you just all freehand the circles all perfectly?
The round parts in there are all done freehand. The rest are straight edge and compass.
Cool. Cool. I gotta keep walking.
Keep walking.
My name's Anton.
David.
David?
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm also an artist, and you know, some of the things you're seeing I see as well. So it's fun when you get to like experience what another artist is experiencing. Cool.
That's cool.
It's cool. Got a great place.
Is it?
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great. So, do you find that you use this? Because I find that I use this for like everything. Like everything ends up coming out of
the flower of life.
Yeah.
Yes,
like everything. Like I find I just use it and I draw for like everything.
Yeah, it is everything.
May I share a little bit with
Sure,
you really fast?
sure.
Just you know, I'm exploring the arts, and it's kind of explosive, but I'm using it and exploring, you know, being able to find new things within it, evolving from it. So like even if you rotate it, like the motion creates like an animation effect.
Well, it's got a lot of energy in there, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
It's no matter what day of the week you look at it or what time of day, you're going to see something different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take care, David.
Blessings, Anton. Hey there. That was amazing. Right as I hit the button. Welcome to the veritable edge of Western civilization yet again. I am your host, David Alexander English. Today is May 12th, 2015, and this is show number, we're going to call it number 182. I did a number 182 the other day on Meerkat, but it didn't save, so it doesn't count. Didn't exist. Bleak. Yeah, 182 shows. How about that? It is an epically beautiful afternoon. Getting a little cool. I just heard on the radio it's supposed to rain tomorrow, or drizzle tomorrow or something, which is great because I get to work on my other projects. But this is something I started on the weekend, and I hope to make some progress on right now. So let's get to it. So it's probably impossible for you to see this, but in the middle of this big yellow thing, there are I made 49 points. Now you might wonder, like, why 49, David? I don't know. Something I saw, and I figured it would be a worthy attempt to. So if you divide 360 by 49, you get 7.3, and it's a number that keeps going for a while. And I'm not sure if it's a repeating number, but it goes on for like about, I don't know, look like a dozen decimal places. But it ends up being 7.3. So 7.3 times 49 equals 360 degrees. Bing, bing, bing. So what's cool about the 7 is the only number that when you divide it into, where do I want to do this? When you divide it into 360, it doesn't divide evenly, but instead creates what's known as a transcendental number. And that's a number that repeats to infinity, which I kind of like. So I had an amazing thing happen on Sunday. I am 57, and that means that I'm going through the second Saturn return, second time Saturn has gone around the sun. And I had a notion that this weekend was going to be, Saturday was actually going to be a powerful day. And it was cool. Some good things happened, but Sunday was the day, man. I got up, came onto the boardwalk, saved a space for myself, went to the gym, got a shower. When I came back, there were some people that had set up nearby that I knew was going to be a big crowd around them. So I moved further down the beach. There was a space open, and I moved into the space. And immediately, this other artist, younger man, started to have a hissy fit about the fact that I was setting up next to him. I've known this guy off and on for years, and there have been days when he, we'll have a conversation like normal people. But this day, he just went off and proceeded to, he went back to his apartment, and he got an amplifier and a microphone and brought it back and proceeded for the next, for the rest of his time in the afternoon, the beach, to berate me. And what was really cool was he made an effort to say everything that he thought I would be offended by, and that all the self-doubts about my work, about my person, about my hygiene, about my finances, and I mean it was amazing. He hit every piece of potential insecurity that I might have. And, it's essentially broadcasting it on the boardwalk, right? And what was really interesting is that initially when he tried to start this whole thing, start broadcasting, I just kept going about my business, setting up and whatnot, and because I wasn't feeling like in opposition to this person. I just, felt like I should bear witness to what was happening. And so I didn't react or respond, and he threatened, he made threats about if I crossed into his space that he had a hammer, and it was very interesting. Not that like I had a desire to go anywhere other than I'm trying to set up my stuff. Like I want to get into it with somebody. So what ended up happening is what was really funny when this started to happen, I just started to do the Hugh mantra, this is the Hugh mantra. If you haven't heard it before, it goes like this. Right? So that's the long form of it, but the shorter form, the one that I was doing, I'll do it for you really close here, okay? It's just this. Right? So I'm just doing that under my breath while I'm working. right? It's become a habit that I do whenever I encounter any kind of disharmony or aggro energy or negativity, or either in myself or in somebody else. If I find myself having fearful thoughts or angry thoughts or you know, confused thoughts or whatever, any kind of debilitating thought forms, that's what I do. And I find that it's a way of, you know, giving up the energy to, you know, my higher self or the Holy Spirit or the infinite consciousness or God or whatever you want to call it. And I don't have to, you know, I don't have to figure it out. I don't have to make my peace with it. I don't have to do anything other than make that sound and continue to do, you know, to keep my peace, you know, to keep my center. So I start doing that. And, you know, as soon as he starts all this stuff and he shows up with the back up with the amplifier, and so he's getting it set up, and he turns it on, and he starts trying to talk into the microphone, and he broke the microphone. Hello, hello.
Oh my God, that is so
So he broke the microphone.
Dark side of the moon. These are nice paintings, man.
Thank you, brother. So he broke the microphone, and so while he's trying to fix his microphone, he left the amplifier making this weird sound. Right? And right then, right as he's starting to try to, you know, make a big deal out of all this stuff, the police showed up right across, and they arrested somebody right in front of our thing, and it took a while and everything like that, so he couldn't be too rude and belligerent, right? It was amazing. So then he finally gets his microphone fixed. I guess he had to ask somebody else for a part and whatnot. Meanwhile, he's got this thing making this noise, and you know, the noise is, of course, it's annoying. I'm like, it's annoying to me, but it's also annoying to the person you just got some assistance with fixing your microphone, so you can continue to bother everybody. And it must be annoying to you because you have to listen to it too, you know. But anyway, it was funny. It's like everything that he said could have applied to either one of us, you know. And what was amazing was what he didn't know. He didn't know that I knew. My intuition was telling me that what was happening was part of my Saturn return, and you know, it's like when you know that that school is in, all you do is bear witness. You know, you don't react, you don't anything. You just pay attention to what's happening, right? Just take it all in, right? So that was my default response to the situation, you know. Anyway, what ended up happening is, you know, he kept saying, I can be here all day. I don't care about making money or anything like that. But of course, if anybody walked up to his booth, he would stop. You know, his friends come up and everything, and he would just stop and chill out and talk to them and stop being, you know, a pain in the butt. But, you know, there were long stretches where it was just him. And so finally, after I got all set up and everything, I just, and literally every minute that he could, he was berating me out loud to anybody that was walking by, you know. And so finally I got set up, and I'm you know, sat down for a minute to rest and recover. And I was just like, you know what? I think now is a really good time for me to stand on my head. You know, so, because I realized that if I'm sitting there, he's going to keep doing what he's doing. But if I'm not there, then he's going to just be doing, you know, saying it to nobody. Like there's no object of his ire, right? So I just walked back to the beach back there and out about 20 yards or whatever, and went and did my normal stand on my head thing. And then and when I was done, I ran out to the beach, and then I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, he had some friends come and talk and whatnot, and he tried to start it up again, and he was just didn't. The thing was, one of the reasons why I moved into that spot was because I knew that this guy was. He usually comes out on Sunday morning, and then he'll leave in the afternoon. So I assumed that he was going to leave, and that would be it. But it turned into this whole thing. So he left. He eventually packed up and left, and yeah, right. So he leaves, and I'm like, phew, that's great. But then so I put something there because often in the afternoons, musicians will come with amplification and everything, and you're right next to them, and it's one thing if they're going up and down the boardwalk playing stuff, but if they're not any good, and you suddenly have like a drum troupe right next to you, forget about not only not making any money, but also having a crowd gather, and they're going to be blocking your stuff, and then you're going to have if they're not any good, then you've got to listen to something that's too loud right next to you where you can't even have your own headspace, So, hey you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. So you caught me doing my little show. So what ended up happening is that after he left, I put something there in the spot. And then a little while later, there was this commotion, and the police came, and they literally arrested someone in the same exact spot across from us that they arrested somebody a couple of hours before. It's a completely different experience, even different cops, but they arrested somebody right in front of. I was like, there is some seriously funky energy right here, right? So what I did is I was like, the energy has to change, right? And sure enough, in the middle of a commotion of the police and people taking videos of the police arresting this guy who was really vocal and blah, blah, there was this musician that came up, and he had a bag and an amplifier, and he started to set up right next to the thing that I put there. I put a tarp there, right? And I was like, oh goodness, what are we dealing with? I walked over and I introduced myself, and I said, hey, what's your name? Blah blah blah. And he says, my name is what's his name, and I play the harp. And I was like, the harp? Really? That's wonderful. I mean, how can you screw up the harp, right? I mean, have you ever heard anybody play the harp badly? No. And perfect music, perfect change. I was like, thank you. And I actually went and I got a broom and I swept the space out for the guy and everything. And he set up and he started to play. I was like, thanks for coming and changing the energy, And that actually ever since then, whenever I think about it, I think about part of the lesson there has to do with, and I totally forgot one of the best parts about this whole thing is, there we go, it's a little better. It's like squeezing my head. While this is before the harp guys showed up, right? A friend of mine showed up, and I was like, let's throw the football, So we went out and we were throwing the football and everything like that. And sure enough, right over here, there was a sundog, you know, this rainbow in the sky. I was like, it's a sign, it's a sign. And I knew, I took it as, you know, that I had somehow passed the test of the day, you know. And so then, you know, the thing happens with the harp guy, and I realized that, you know, what was the lessons of all this, you know, and part of the lesson has to do with, for me, it has to do with, you know, realizing how we're manifesting, and that we can manifest, you know, because in that situation, you know, if it was earlier in my life, I would have been really hurt by the things that that person said, but I took it as that person was, you know, being used by the universe to deliver a message, you know. And it was kind of like facing the Gorgon, you know, where the Gorgon is your worst fears being projected at you, and so then what do? Do you oh, you know, or do you just, you know, witness? And when you witness, you know, you can see the hand behind the mask, right? And I'm sure that person had no idea what they were doing in that regard, that was the role that they were playing in my little universe, you know. But I wasn't in, and I hope that I was providing that person with an opportunity to grow. So I came away from it feeling very grateful, but at the same time, a couple hours later, I just looked back at it and I was like, because it's been kind of resounding through, it was a very profound experience. It's been, what I got from it was not only did I not lose my peace, but somehow a harpist was manifested to change the friggin' energy, you know? That, I mean, that is to go from like one guy with a microphone saying the worst things they could possibly say about another human being to a harp player just totally being chill and making good medicine in the world in the same exact spot. It was just, I don't know, make of it what you will. But the sun is going down. At least I'm going to make one iteration around this baby today. And you probably can't see it because it's so bright, but that's the way it goes. I don't know what to tell you. Right, so let's go for 2 iterations. Yesterday it was kind of my my least favorite weather here, windy and cold, sunny but windy and cold. and I didn't get to do the show. And I almost didn't get to do it today because these guys had their corporate music playing too loud. And then just before I went on, they closed their door. So I was able to slide in there, get a quick show. Cool. This is going to be, it's going to take a bit, I'm thinking. This is going to be one of those shimmering eye candy brain twister paintings. The first of two. All right. So what time do we have? Oh, 4 minutes. Sunset's at 4:46 and it's 4:41. Just gonna pack it up. See if we can make it around for our second iteration. So one of the main things that's been happening in my life for the past month, actually today is probably about day 40. Yeah, I think for the past 40 days, I've been writing and posting something on my Facebook combined with a photograph. And then on April 3rd, it turned into this thing called some of what I've been given to understand by the universe. And then it turned into more of what I've been given to understand by the universe. And so I've been posting that every day. And I knew at the time, and I that it was a book, and the book is called Absolute Truth, and the subtitle is What I've Been Given to Understand by the Universe, and it's Divine Metaphysics 103, Handbook of the Infinite Immortal Children of the Light, and so it's the third book in the series of the Divine Metaphysics 101, 102, and 103 books. And and so there, take that. So that's been kind of taken up residence in my awareness, this book, because it's like, you know, people come up and they're like, what's going on? What's new? And for me, that's what's going on. But it's such an inner experience. That, you know, so much has happened inside of me with regards to this project. But for most people, you know, outwardly, it's like, when I think about it, it's like nothing's happened. You know? There we go. The second iteration. Can you make that out at all? No, you can't. It's perfectly white. It's crazy. Well, anyway. Wow, what a beautiful sunset. Let's see if we can turn this baby around so you can see it. Get some water on this first. Clean the brush, clean the brush. Got some brand new sharp brushes, so I can work in really fine, do some really fine work, fine lines and stuff. Really. All right, let's turn the. There we go. Yeah, I can't really make it out. This looks like darkness, but it's very peachy. Literally, it's very peachy. Okay, so thanks again for coming, and remember, we love you.